For years, gaming was seen as a hobby just for teen boys, but women love video games too.
Of course we do, and an all-new female-run gaming organization is hosting game nights here in Charlotte to celebrate women in the gaming industry, and you can check out one of their events tonight.
Each woman on this team has a different and distinct personality. And yet, I think any woman watching right now could see herself in one of these women. Like, that's how diverse the team is naturally.
It's you, it's all for you.
And thank you so much for coming tonight. We are live. I just want to say thank you for coming to our first series, How to Stream Like a Goddess. We are here to go ahead and start our workshop with teaching you guys how to do alerts, how to engage with your chat, how to do proper moderation, and other items tonight. I am accompanied by all of the gaming goddesses this evening. So we are so excited for you guys to see what we have in store for you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat. We're going to go ahead and begin with our first presentation, and it is going to be alerts and other functions with Legend of the Star. Please wait one moment. All right, and Legend, I do have you on the main cam right now. So
Hello.
if you would like to go ahead and get started, please feel free, hun.
All right, so today I'm going to be talking about personalizing stream alerts. It's really important, I think, to make sure that your followers or your viewers that do come into chat have a way of, I guess, like hearing like a personalized sound, or for you just as a streamer to have alerts that just fit your channel. I use Giphy. I know a lot of streamers use Giphy out there, or Jiffy. I don't know how they pronounce it. There's like a big thing on Twitter on how to pronounce it. Giphy. I use that usually for my alerts, and I prefer the program Stream Elements. I know with Slobs it's a little bit more integrated, but for me personally, Stream Elements is just easiest for me because it's more, or it's similar to OBS Studio if anyone used to use that like back in the day. So for me, I just like building off of that. Now, when you use Streamlabs, they do have an option where you can do all of your widgets, and they have one specifically just for the alert box. And it's pretty simple to set up. You usually just have to go to, whatever site you prefer, Giphy, download either the, image that you want. I like stickers. I think stickers are better than actual like scenes. So that's usually how I do it on my channel. Personally, I think a lot of people use stickers. I do think that some people even have customizable alerts that are just specifically for their channel using either their animations or their chibi, something like that. And a lot of artists nowadays will commission that, but I'm sure you have to ask specifically on whether or not they do animation, if that's something that you're looking for, or if you just want something simple. I think a lot of people have those in their portfolios nowadays, since Twitch is making it a little bit more easier for you to personalize your channel. Like with Slobs, I'm pretty sure that you can have individual alerts for even people who have like tweeted out your stream or have shared it on some other social media platform, which I think is actually really cool. But I believe that part of it is with the subscription service. Stream Elements, you don't really have to worry about that, so it saves you a little bit on the funds there. But I like it. I use stickers personally for mine, like I mentioned earlier, and I just think it's important that you have something that just shows your aesthetic. For sounds, obviously you want to make sure that you have it non-copyrighted music. But editing, there's lots of services that you can use where you can just copy it. Like I do use YouTube. So with YouTube, I'll just find a non-copyrighted song, usually like EDM or some sound music, because it's easiest. Words, I guess, you don't want to be DMCA'd for that. So again, non-copyrighted music. I just do the sound only, no lyrics. And there's a lot of programs where you can download it as an MP3 player on your PC. That's what I do. I probably make it all like I bet I'm one of those streamers that does it the hard way. It's probably easiest way, but there's software services that you can download where you can change it to them so it's easier for you to upload it and then cut it and edit it. But that's how I like to do it for mine. I believe I did that for the Athena Alliance channel too. We have our own alerts that we set up in sounds for each individual uh, alert. So for your follows, your subs, the resubs is always the same thing. Donation, host, raids, merchandise. Stream Labs does have that where you can have someone alert or off if you have merch for sale.
All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and slow it down. So, for the purpose of the audience listening in, why would someone use alerts versus not using alerts or stickers? Like, what's the whole point in doing that?
It's just to add more personalization to your channel. A lot of people who follow or who sub or who host or who raid, it's a good way to signal you as you're streaming to let you know, since a sound is something specific for an alert, to let you know who to thank, what to say if you can't catch their name right away. So that's why I like to make sure that each sound is completely different than the one before. I don't like using the same track for my alerts because again, it like as a streamer, if you're really into a game, depending on what you're playing, it gives you just sort of like that sign or that hint that you need to thank someone for following or hosting or for subscribing to your channel.
All right, and we do have some engagement coming into the chat right now, so I just want to thank you guys for doing that. KC Star says, I know I get distracted by my games sometimes, and so alerts help bring me back into reality. Do you relate to that, Legend?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think I'm always engrossed in a game because a lot of the games that I play are story based, or I mean they're indies specifically. Goddesses indies. So it's important for me to really focus on the game so that I know what I'm doing because a lot of the games that I play are either in beta or in alpha. So again, it just really helps to sort of snap you back to it and be aware that, hey, there are people that are watching you, so it can cook you back to reality, absolutely. And let you can just, if you can't see their screen name yet, if it takes you a moment to get to chat, you can at least, have that signal that someone has followed or hosted or rated your channel, and you will like automatically know what to say afterwards, especially if it's something that you practice, which I think practicing is important too. A lot of people like to have sort of like a catchphrase when their alert goes off, or they like to do some type of movement. So it really helps you to just personalize and stay focused on engagement, which is really important when you're streaming.
All right, and then King of the Nerds also says having different sounds for different things helps so much so that you know what just happened. So examples like you could have a different sound for when you have a follower, and then you can also have like a different sound for when you have a different, like if you have someone coming into the stream for the first time and they wanted to subscribe to you, you could have a different sound for that. I wanted to kind of go into some of the technicalities that you're really good with, Legend. In some ways, I've noticed that you have closed captions on every stream that you do, which is pretty unique because not a lot of streamers do it, but it also helps with those viewers that may be watching and they may not be able to hear as closely. What made you start adding captions to your stream, or was that something you always did?
Um, that's a good question. It was something that I've done, I think, within the past year and a half. I believe that it's important to have inclusivity in your channel. A lot of people are hard of hearing, can't hear at all. And I think we take that for granted, especially as a streamer. We don't realize that we're reaching, um, everyone, all different types of audience with all different types of health issues. And so it's important for us to remember that so that they also, people who are non hearing or don't hear very well, feel included in our communities. I also do it because I have a tendency to forget to unmute myself when I mute myself via Stream Elements or OBS, coming back from like a break or from my starting soon screen. And so I'll just be talking. And as many streamers are aware, a lot of times no one tells you that you're muted. And it takes about maybe 15-20 minutes for yourself to realize that you are. So having captions is a really good idea to be like, yo, like if you forget to unmute yourself, at least people will be able to read what you're saying if you haven't muted your mic itself. So yeah, I use web browser. There are Twitch extensions that do have captions that are available as well, so you can just have that automatic engagement when you go live. When you stream with web captioner, there is a little bit of finagling. You have to have a tab open at all times, and it has to sort of be front in line for it to really catch what you're saying, which is weird because it never used to do that. But with web captioner, you can personalize like the font more, uh, the coloring more, so that it's easier for people to be able to see it, or you can customize it to go with your channel aesthetic. But I try to stay away from like purples or reds, really, because a lot of people are colorblind, and I believe if you're colorblind, those are the most common colors that you cannot see. So I try to, at least with captions, keep everything white with a black background, because it's just, again, just having that inclusivity for everyone.
All right. And then with your like when you're making the decision of choosing extensions, what exactly are you looking for? Because even when I was browsing on Twitch, for example, the other day, there are so many extensions that are
Yeah.
available with Twitch. So like what exactly do you look for in order to say, okay, I'm gonna add this to my channel?
For me, it's a lot of viewer engagement. So the extensions that I have specifically are, I have sound alerts, so people can either spend bits or you can have it as subscriber only to trigger certain sounds, via either a panel on your channel itself, or I think there's sort of like an extension that can hover it for mobile users. I have one that can link people to, like, if you have channel points, or Stream Elements has sort of a store page where you collect points for being in a channel for a certain period of time, and you can use that to redeem certain items. And then that extension that I have too. I think it's all about how your channel is and what type of engagement that you want. Because I tend to focus a lot in my games, because games are hard. I'm not the best gamer. Um, it's good to have people like to scare you a lot. Halloween is perfect for that because you can have certain sound alerts that pop off, and they're spooky, so it can scare the crap out of you. And people love that. People love scaring and startling streamers. That's like one of their favorite activities. So again, it just depends on the type of engagement that you're looking for, what type of information you want easily accessible when people come to your channel, because that's what's important to you. They're going to look at your channel page. They're going to possibly click the things. But what would you, as a consumer, you know, what would intrigue you about this person? Or how would you, do you like, busy stuff? Do you like simple things? How do you want to be able to interact with your viewers as well, so that it's not just fun for them, but it's enjoyable for you as well?
All right. And then there was a debate that happened in the WG streamers group recently, and I thought that I should bring it up because I thought it was such a good thing to see for others to think about. When we're starting a stream, you have different scenes. You can have your
Mm.
scenes that show you're starting soon, your be right backs, you're ending soon. how do you feel about having those different scenes? Are they necessary? Do you find that you can maintain engagement, or do you find that you lose engagement when you have those certain scenes?
I think it's a little bit of both, to be honest. If you have a pretty solid community, they're not going to care if you have a starting soon. In fact, some people actually enjoy it because it gives you time as a streamer to tweet if you need to, maybe make some final changes, do some final adjustments. So I think starting soons are helpful. If you're one of those people that can just jump into a stream and do your business, then obviously don't have one. BR backs are tricky. Like I said, if you have a solid community base, it's not going to bother them. Engagement isn't going to be lost. But if you're still growing your channel, or if you're still sort of finding your niche in the streaming scene, so to speak, you can lose engagement. Because if you take too long of a break, people are going to wonder, like, where are you? Where are you? And there are some extensions that you can have where there's a timer involved. But then, are you putting pressure on yourself as a streamer to only have like a 15-minute break? Is I think it just depends on your comfortableness with having to maybe fight harder to bring people back to your stream if you're one of those people that uses they be right back and you take longer. You know what I mean? Like, you're just a casual breaker. You're not 15 minutes on the clock, good to go.
Yeah, I do feel that. I definitely and I don't know how some of the other ladies on the team felt. I know that we had kind of like that discussion yesterday, and some people said that, oh, I like using those scenes, or oh, if I see someone else using that when they're streaming, I usually leave the scene. I'm gonna open the floor. How do you ladies feel about that?
What's really funny about when people talk about like starting students and BRBs and stuff like that, I think that you just have to make it enjoyable for you. And what would you want to see as a viewer? Like, if so, I'm a streamer, right? Let me be a viewer for a second and see how I would want to pull up to a stream. So if it says starting soon and it's literally the words just like chilling, I don't think that is beneficial for you. But if there's some activity on the screen, then it's beneficial. I know I use my starting soon screen to give me literally a second to like tweet, or if I'm trying to share it in last minute shares, because you have to wait till you're live. So I try to do all that with my starting soon. And I kind of just got to get my mind right. I can't lie to you guys. I can't just sit there and be like, turn on hit go live. And I'm like this. I don't know if I am comfortable doing that. I'm so serious. Y'all, for the past few weeks, I've seen some interesting starting soons. They say starting soon, and then it's the person like this, this is it. I'm gonna show you. Ready? I'm like, I don't feel comfortable doing that, so I know that for me.
You know what that makes me think of? That scene at the end of, I think, Toy Story 3, where Barbie's like, bye-bye, bye-bye.
Right.
Okay, are they gone? Oh, thank goodness. And then their face drops?
Yeah.
That's what that makes me think of.
That's exactly what that is. So I feel like you have to find a way to make it great. So I know I am not a BRB person, because I usually just run straight through the stream unless I really have to do something. But I use I made a BRB and I made a song. Well, excuse me, my boyfriend made a new song for me. And it's probably the most lit thing I've ever heard in my life. So now I found a way for people to stay there for however long I need for them to be like, oh, okay, I got something going on real quick. Now I want to hear the rest of the song. I don't want to leave, if we think about it like that. Or throw up like a montage of your clips for a BRB screen. Give them something to look at while you are gone. You know what I mean? Now the end screen, give me a second to find my person I'm gonna raid real quick. I just need a second. That's why I hit that button offline. It's so animated. I'm searching to look who I want to raid, and boom. So I just think that if you're gonna do it, I think there has to be purpose behind it. I think if you're just gonna, throw it up there and then it's just like starting soon, like on screen, I just feel like that may not be in the best of your interest. But it's something to catch their eye super fast. But It's
I
different.
definitely, yeah, I would say I concur. I agree with everything
Yeah.
I agree.
that Imani is saying. There's been studies on these starting soons and BRB screens. And overall, those social media companies that like help influencers and whatnot, they have found that they are detrimental to your view count. But they're extremely beneficial as a streamer, right? So we want to keep using them because they help us for all the things that Imani literally just listed out. So much like her, I do the same thing. I got to find some music for y'all to jam to. I got to make stuff animated so you know that my screen's not frozen and that I'm coming or coming back if it's a pause screen. And I think if you are going to use them, you want to make them as entertaining as possible. Opposite of Imani's weird encounter with just weird. It actually included a mini game that was interactive on Twitch. And so when you come in and it's at a pause or it's at a starting soon screen, you could play that and basically the viewers could entertain themselves, which keeps people there.
What I've ended up doing is I'll end up playing like royalty-free chill lo-fi music to slowly ease people into my stream. And I have the starting soon with like my handles on it. So it just has starting soon, but then it has my other handle. So people want to end up following me there to get updates of whenever I go live. And I've started occasionally taking a page out of a Spokey's book, and sometimes I'll leave up a poll, sometimes just a goofy poll to end up seeing, like, it's going to take me 5 minutes to go completely live because I'll go have the starting soon stream up for that long so I can get everything else set up. And it's like, okay, just a random thing, like shirt tucked in or not tucked in, or which is better, this or this. And then it normally gets them starting to like argue or chat with each other in the chat, like, who picked this? Why would you pick that instead of this? And so they start talking with each other. And I noticed it in Spokey's stream on like Wednesday wrap-ups and everything whenever I hang out there, and I loved it. So I was like, yoink. Have never heard any of Spokey's questions, but just random stuff. Or if I also do that occasionally if I'm not sure what I want to play and I'm stuck between 2 or 3 games. I'll be like, hey guys, before I get started, pick what I'm going to play. Here are the 3 options. Go. And I'll do that occasionally in ending soon streams as well. Like if nobody's on that I want to raid, or I don't have the capacity to stay on my computer longer because I'm like, nope, if I sit here any longer, I'm done. I'll put up an ending soon, and then I'll put up a poll. It's like, next time we're streaming on this day, what do you guys want to see? More of this or one of these other 2 games that we've played?
And speaking of polls, we do have some ladies on the team. Whether you're on Facebook or Twitch, you can utilize polls. Facebook has a new functionality called questions, so you can have a question, and your chat could free type their answer. So instead of instead of the streamer providing answers for them to just click and select, the viewer can type a question. Now, does anyone feel like that helps on their team with like not only keeping the chat engaged, but also, giving the chat sort of like things to do while they're there with you guys?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. I think you're streaming, right? It's not TV, it's not a movie, it's streaming. And one of the appeals to being a streamer is the interaction between you and your audience. It's in real time. So you can have a conversation, you can have a debate, you can ask questions and get answers back. And if you're not doing that, then what are you doing, right? At least that's how I feel about it. And that's why I started, trying to get better about adding polls and creating that sort of dialogue and interaction so that when people come in, it really does feel like a community and like they belong there. Their opinion matters.
We got a question from someone. Puka25 asked, what platform do y'all use to stream and which platform is more effective?
I do believe that's going to be a focus of another one of our lovely workshop panels.
And it is,
Yeah.
but I do want to go ahead and talk about that. On this specific team for the gaming goddesses, we have 2 that we use primarily, and that's Twitch and Facebook Gaming. However, there is YouTube, and we are starting to use YouTube as well, not necessarily just for the live streams, but also with uploading episodes in a post-production format. Now I will say this, when it comes to Twitch, discoverability is a bit higher there than it is necessarily on Facebook. On Facebook, you kind of have a way where you can share your items out to the audiences, or you can ask your audience to share items out. But depending on how often you're doing that, groups is where you would really need to utilize the share function. On Twitch, it gives you consistent alerts as to when someone goes live. On Facebook, sometimes those alerts are not on. And you may have to, as like the audience member, if you want to keep up with someone's content, you have to manually hit the bell, and sometimes even do exclamation point notify in the chat, just to make sure that you are seeing that streamer. Whereas on Twitch, if you just click follow, you'll get all of the notifications that they're on. Likewise with Facebook, with YouTube, I apologize. On YouTube, you can just subscribe, and once you do, again, you do get those alerts that your favorite streamer is on. But I will say, specifically for women, I would say with women, there's more, you see more of an upward growth on Twitch. However, there's an oversaturation on Twitch. So when you go and transition over, let's say you're getting into Facebook gaming. With Facebook gaming, you do have the ability to share your content out a lot easier than you do on Twitch. But again, trying to make sure that you're getting that reach is harder on Facebook, because it's a pay to play system. It's a system where you have to pay for the boost in order for you to get more eyes on your content. And
You
sometimes it
don't
works.
necessarily have to, but yeah, she's not wrong.
I mean, you don't have to. You can choose to not do that. Like, you have choice in, you know, whether you're choosing your platform, whether you're sharing your content and networking, you always have a choice. But sometimes, and I see it a lot more with Facebook than YouTube and Twitch, for example, to get more eyes on your content, it is a pay to play system. And it's because of the marketing silo that Facebook has. Now I would like some of the other ladies to sound off as well.
I guess they hit it like nail on the head, pretty much.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. I got the last one. You get this one.
All right. Like for me, I've tried like each three, like Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. And like Twitch is like probably gonna be the most better once you have your audience. Than like Facebook gaming and YouTube, because like Facebook gaming is there, but it's not as popular as like Twitch. Like you're gonna have problems trying to find like places to connect with Facebook gaming or YouTube gaming compared to like Twitch gaming. There's so many like network connection groups for Twitch versus like Facebook gaming and YouTube there, which like networking and all that kind of stuff is important, which we'll talk about later on. But like it's easier to do that for Twitch than any other platform.
I can agree. A lot of people have it set up that the Twitch pop-ups are in their Twitter feed, and a big portion of their demographic will be like from Twitter. Super easy, super shareable. I think overall, choosing which platform that you stream to is gonna end up being something that is based around you and your lifestyle.
Mhm.
Like for me, I was on Twitch for a really long time, and I was successful on Twitch. I'm an affiliate. But I decided after so long that once Facebook gaming became a thing, I was going to switch over. And the reason for that is because my biggest demographic on social media was Facebook. So I thought to myself, it would be easier to just take my content directly to them versus trying to get them to come over here. Everything about Facebook's algorithms wants you to stay on Facebook. So when you share a link to an outside site, that post gets nerfed. So for me, it was a very personal choice to switch from Twitch to Facebook. But I will say that it was definitely easier in terms of discoverability on Twitch.
So I think the interesting thing is that both were so both Lexi's and Spooky's like I guess comparisons are really really interesting, and I also super agree with both of you. The weird thing is, what I will say is that I don't stream on Twitch at all. I'm only there when I have to be, which has only been maybe like 4 times ever. But I can say that it's enjoyable there. So the thing is that I feel like for both, you deciding, like Spooky said, is based on like your community and like what you decide to do. But for me, Facebook is just so much more personal. And I know that I can like look at a name and be like, oh, Jackson, thank you so much. And then it's like, I went to Twitch and like their name is like Hotshot 1768. And I'm like, they're like, hey. And I'm like, hey, what's your name? And it's like so weird because I feel uncomfortable having to like say such a right. I'm just like, hi. But I think that's only because I have only streamed on Facebook Gaming for so long. What I do like about Facebook is that yes, there is a little bit more accessibility to like reaching out to other people. I will say that I guess you can easily get swept under the rug for both platforms, though. I think that's just what it comes down to. You just either have to be great, or hopefully you have that connection, or hopefully you just did the work that you needed to do, or you're doing all the work and you just don't have that like that, you know, you don't have those eyes or people watching you. So, you know, I think that also plays a really big part in it. But I personally really super duper love Facebook. Yes, they have trial and errors. Yes, they have many errors, but I know that they are making a lot of progress. I said what I said. They know, everyone knows, I'm just putting it out there, but I really do hope that they are making just progress in general. But I can see new stuff every day. They've just fixed our chat delay on Facebook. It's now down to 5 to 10 seconds, which is huge because on
Way
Twitter,
better.
it's like they speak and I'm like, oh, you answered me quick. I'm over here playing the game. Facebook, I'll wait 30 seconds. Like,
I think we have like a 3-second delay. I could be wrong.
For Twitch?
Yeah.
It's super short. I'm like,
it's way shorter on Twitch than
it depends if you have like low latency on or not. If you don't have it on, then it's going to be higher. But if you have low latency on Twitch, then yeah, it's lots shorter.
Wow, super crazy. So I just want to throw that out there that they are making those adjustments, and I like Facebook. But I feel like you have to, if you decide on whatever it is you want to do, I feel like you have to be the one to go test it rather than us being like, here's the pros, here's the cons, because everyone's pros and cons are going to be different at the end of the day.
It's like going to the clothing store and picking out an outfit. No one's going to have the same experience.
So Puka had a follow-up question. Do the platforms pay you if you reach a certain amount of followers?
Monetization is there. It's not what everyone thinks. It is not based on the number of followers that you have. You can use your follower analytics to get outside sponsorships. And those numbers, they kind of walk around like a bouncer for you, right? But in terms of, oh, hey, you have over 10,000 followers, here's a paycheck. Like, that's not how that works. A lot of what we do is based on feeding donations, star donations, subs, supporters.
Subscriptions are big.
Yeah.
We do have a
Subscriptions
big
and bits.
name. We had Big Dame 916 in the chat. They're saying sorry, they're a little bit late. But what is the best way to start streaming, especially if you don't have money? I have an Xbox Series X and an iPhone 11. Can I grow to do anything with this? Big Dame, I just want to go ahead and let you know that I am actually using my cell phone as the streaming camera tonight. And most of the time, if I don't say anything to anyone, they usually can't tell that I'm using a cell phone as a webcam. So you can absolutely use your iPhone to begin streaming if you feel like you don't have a lot of money to spare. You know, especially with the state of the world, everything going on right now, you may not have a lot of money to spare and say, I'm going to get a big fancy setup and I'm going to get a top of the line camera. Some of the best cameras that are out there on the market right now, they are actually out of stock,
Mhm.
based on everything going on. So
Or price hiked.
or they're being like
They're
definitely
being gouged.
jacked with the prices, so you don't have to feel like you need to have a big fancy setup. I do plan on the very next workshop that we're having in February to actually go through how I started my setup. I don't have a fancy setup in the least. Some of the ladies on the team, you'll look at their backgrounds and you're like, wow, they have like a really fancy setup and it must have cost them thousands of dollars, which in some cases it did. Mine is actually very incredibly low budget, because I started within the last year and I wanted to kind of challenge myself and say, well, is there a way that you can stream in a low budget way where it doesn't necessarily look low budget? Like there are certain tricks, there are certain things you can employ. So I do hope that you join us for that next workshop. Ladies, that you guys have started on the team, not everyone starts with a big fancy setup. So what were your experiences with that?
I
I
started out with an Xbox Connect and floor lamps, like the ones that you buy to decorate your house. I am
Same.
at this point, I am one of those streamers she's talking about with the big fancy setup, but that takes time.
Hmm.
I
It does
used
take time.
My Xbox Connect, and I would take my floor lamps and like set them on a chair so that I had lighting.
Yeah, I'm another one that
My
started with just Xbox. Like that was it.
I set
It takes
up
really a lot of time to like grow my setup. I'm like been
Yeah.
streaming 3 years and I'm just getting my setup to the way I
Yep.
want it. So it
I
does take
started
time.
and I started on the
So I
PlayStation 4 rather recently. I started with just my PlayStation 4, no webcam whatsoever, a headset, and directly streamed from my PlayStation 4. And then Lexi helped me out with a mic, which I still greatly appreciate. I love my mic. And I'm starting to get everything put together. I now have 2 monitors. I built my PC. I have a camera. I'm getting lighting. It's a slow process. I've almost been streaming for my first full year this May. So that's going to be exciting. But I'm just slowly collecting pieces to make my setup better. I eventually want to get LED lights. I eventually want to get a better keyboard. But you don't have to start out the gate having an expensive setup. You just have to have the will to do it, the energy to want to get involved and engage with your chat. Like when I was just streaming directly from my PlayStation, I had my laptop pulled up next to me so I could still see the chat and still interact with my viewership.
Yeah, I
When
basically moved from the back of my room to the front, like on a little laptop with like a rinky dink, like not even like an end table that we've had in our family for like years, a chair, I had just a sheet in the back. Like it don't ever think that you need a huge setup at all. And honestly, you're just wasting your money. Like I don't think you should spend money on equipment if one, you can't afford it, okay, and two, if you really don't have that much of an audience, because you're just going to hurt yourself in the long run and end up with equipment that you're going to be stale with if you're not, if you've hyped yourself too much and you haven't really gotten to the reality of just how challenging streaming is. That can really be streaming's tough. It's hard. It's a lot of hard work. It's exhausting. It can take a lot out of you, both mentally and physically. So it's definitely a commitment. So, start off fresh, get your foot in, get comfortable with, how you want to brand yourself, how you want to engage with an audience, even if it's just an audience of one, you, how are you going to keep yourself entertained for hours? Before investing in any type of huge equipment, especially if you're just starting fresh.
All right, and we did have a question.
Camera works are amazing.
We had a question from Casey Star in the chat. How do you turn on and off with low latency? How do you turn that functionality on and off?
So that's going to be a setting within the streaming program that you're using, if you're using low latency or not. There is a Twitch setting. It's somewhere deep buried down. I'll look it up and I'll post it in chat. But those are the two places that you can control it at.
All right, and then I'll go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next section. And I'll make sure I ask Jamie to still keep up with certain questions in the chat. But we'll move
I
on to
got
the
you.
next section for our workshop, and that's going to be with Little Chaos Gaming. The section is moderation.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Little Chaos Gaming. I've been on Facebook Gaming for officially 2 years now. And I'm here to bring you some information about how to choose your moderators. So, the crazy thing is that when I first started, my first year maybe, my only moderator was my significant other at the time. So, he had an admin role on my page. So as I'm telling you these things, I want you to really listen. He had an admin role on my page, okay? So they're able to do a lot of things, right? And they basically have control over deleting comments in the chat. They are able to ban people. They're able to mute people in your chat. They can delete comments. And basically, they are just the ones to kind of keep the chat like they are moderating, aka they're keeping all eyes on the chat. They're eyes on you, making sure you're good. They're making sure your chat's okay. If they find that something isn't appropriate, they get rid of it. If they feel like you're being disrespected, they delete the comment. So that is the benefits of having mods. So as I started, and I only had my significant other at the time, he actually worked at night, which is when I streamed. So technically, I really was kind of the only person like being able to keep full eyes on my chat like while I was playing the game. Which at the time when I first started, I was doing RPGs and like Pokemon run-throughs, and those are kind of all eyes on the screen. You know what I mean? So you don't miss parts or whatever. But what I want to say is that choosing them, I feel like you have to be really picky, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't feel like you should choose the people that are constantly like, hey, I want to be a mod. No, we don't move like that, Ms. Girl, Mr. Sir. We don't do that here. So I try to watch out for those people because I feel like they just want to have some type of control or benefit from your success. And that is not the kind of people that we want here, okay? I chose my moderators based on their involvement in my chat. Sometimes when I would like stream certain games, you kind of have like, you start with a certain amount, then that number trickles down, and I'd be like, hey, yo, chat, who's here? And I would have that one person that would be like, I am still here. And I'm like, dang, you roll with me for 5 hours straight, and like you just chilling and you're vibing with me. Those are the people that I want. So as the year kind of took off, my significant other obviously kind of like stepped down just because he was at work at night. And one of my really good friends, I allowed to moderate for me because he was just consistent. Always was saying hi, always asking people questions. Hey, what are you doing? What'd you eat for dinner? He was just consistently hyping up my chat, and I let him be a moderator. So I only had 2 really. And then he ended up being way too busy because his stream started popping off. Nope, I'm not sad. I was hyped for him, okay? So, then I was back at like 0. I now currently have 7 moderators. And I will explain to you exactly what they do. So I will name them. I have Kyrie. His name is Moose. I have Rico. I have Christelle. I have Baby Peace. I have Corey and Madam Saki. So 6. I was right. Okay, so I have 6. They each play such a big role in my community growth and just me as a person. We do have our own secret mod chat. That is for us to express our ideas, and they have helped me put together some really good ideas to bring to streaming. So I have 3 in-chat moderators. So Christelle, Moose, and Rico are my in-chat moderators, meaning while I am live, they're in the chat making sure that no one's popping off out the mouth. They're making sure people aren't flooding the chat. Any disrespectful comments are gone. They're like, hey, did you drink water? They're literally on my ass, making sure that I am, I'm good. So those are my 3 in chat, aka delete the comments, ban people, mute people, all those great things. And they keep the chat going. If they see that there's nobody talking, they'll be like, chat, where you at? There's 17 of us and none of y'all saying nothing. Like, you know, they kind of like, they're like, oh snap, we got you. So they kind of really pay attention to the small details. I also have a moderator for my Chaos Crew group page, which is just kind of like Chaos Crew, Imani, Lil Chaos, all the vibes, anime, food, Pokemon, all the great things go into that group. And Peace and Corey, did I drink water today? I have water right here. But basically, Peace and Corey. I haven't had Corey for a while due to, you know, life. Life is crazy. But Peace is in the Chaos Crew page every day asking a poll. He has a poll every day. He sometimes has it twice a day. It is one thing he never forgets to do. I've never seen Peace to forget to ask the Chaos Crew, what did you eat for breakfast? Marvel Comics, whatever. He asks so many different varieties of questions, and he even responds to everybody that comments. I am just unavailable to do those kinds of things because I am doing so many other things that I am able to keep a whole nother group of people, you know, committed and just involved in a different space. So he does that. He asks questions, posts memes. He accepts and declines people or bans people or deletes people in the group. That is his job. And then I have Discord moderators. So Madam Saki, Peace, are my Discord moderators. Granted, all of them really do help with everything, but they specifically have those jobs. So Peace does the giveaway bots and stuff. He knows how to work the bots really well. So I allow him when it's giveaway time for him to handle those kinds of things. And then Madam Saki, she loves to draw, she loves to post videos, and she keeps people engaged. So if I'm not online, she will go into the general chat and she will just stream her drawing. Literally just her drawing or doing small little doodles, whatever. And she'll be like, I'm just playing some music in the background. Come hang out with me. And they go in there and they chat with her. So again, I have a group of people separated into 3 different places, and they are able to help me in so many different ways because they are continuously keeping people involved. So I chose each of them because they each are just different. They each bring something different to the table. And they're all really a lot of fun. And I know that I can trust them. Have I met these people in person? No. Not at all. I know where they live, but I haven't met them in person. But they're like my best friends. They are my literal best friends. And I chose them because they were the people that stuck around for me, whether I didn't have anybody in there at the time. Like just last night, I think I had like 3 people in there, and it was Christelle, Peace, and I think one more person. My homies, my ride or die. So that is how I chose my moderators. I did want to go over a few things. So like if someone ever were to reach out to you about being a moderator, I did have, they're actually in the Discord right now, which is kind of funny. But I asked them like some positives, like what are their positives and like what are their job descriptions. So Moose was telling me that his official job description as a mod, he makes a pinned comment for me every day when I go live. When I go live, I don't do the pinned comment, so he knows to always add my Discord and to always just put like a cool little rhyme and something about our goals for today. Our goal is to hit 100 reactions and 1,000 comments. And he puts that in that pinned comment for me and has it set up through the whole stream. He just tries to make sure we're pushing those goals and to notify people if they miss an announcement. And his favorite thing is to ask the Moose question of the day, where he just does a random question and just gets that involvement back. So like Peace's job is to moderate the Facebook group, keep everyone engaged. He said he's just trying to make sure S-word doesn't hit the fan. But he also keeps me informed about Pokemon stuff while I'm playing the game so I don't forget, because sometimes I do forget and I do need that extra help. But he is there to be able to do that for me. Christelle said, I personally have to make sure the chat is in check. Keep people engaged. Make sure there's no one out of line. The mod squad has a shared duty to support in any ways and always, whether we can on stream or behind the scenes. And Rico's response was to hit people with the Twisted Tea no jutsu. He was kidding. But officially, this is to ensure that our community and content creator both have equal portions of security, entertainment, and relatability. It's hard for a lot of people out there. If you can show them that they aren't just another viewer and they're a part of something bigger than than just the monitor that they're watching, it's a really good job. So if you guys notice that answer, their most consistent answer was to keep the chat engaged, to keep people engaged, to keep people there. Granted, what am I doing? Yes, I'm playing the game. Yes, I'm here to keep people engaged. But if I'm staring at that screen and I'm like, I can't beat this boss, what am I doing? They're the ones answering all the questions, doing all the shenanigans, if that makes sense.
Speaking of questions, we have one in the chat, in Facebook chat. Deasia wants to know, where can I add mods, or is having mods something that unlocks over time?
So you can add your mods. So you got to go to your Facebook settings, and on your on your gaming page, you will go to your settings. You'll see something on the left side that says page roles. In the middle of that page, you'll see admins. Don't touch that. They have access to everything. They can even delete your page. Go down, go to community managers, add their email or type their name from Facebook, hit add, and then you'll see at the bottom it says request sent. They have to accept that request, and then it's up to them if they would like to show that badge in the stream. If not, they decide that. But that is where you add your community managers.
I just also want to point out that on Twitch, the process is actually a lot easier. You simply click /mod and then the user's name, and that'll actually create a moderator on Twitch. So while it's a process on Facebook, it's just as simple as a chat command on Twitch. You can also do that to add bots such as Nightbot or any type of bot that you would like to have added on Twitch, just kind of add for chat engagement. But those are the two ways that you can do it. Thank you, Little Chaos, for so eloquently saying how you do it on Facebook.
Yeah.
In terms of having a entire moderation team, when you're picking those people and you have so many people doing things on a team, are you as the streamer assigning tasks for your moderators, or are they just kind of going in and doing what they need to do?
I usually assign tasks as best I can. So we usually have mod meetings I try to do it every month, where we kind of just get together, kiki, and that's where we would discuss those things. So when the only two mods I had for 6 months was Moose and Rico, and I just specifically assigned Moose to do that pin comment. That is his thing. Moose, do the pin comment. He says, "Boss lady, I got it," and he does it every time. Okay, so yes, I do assign those things. Rico, I'm like, you can ban anybody, have a great time, just go off, you know what to do, because he just likes to have fun. So I don't really have to assign Rico. He just does everything just for the heck of it. But specifically, Peace, people like Peace and Madam Saki. Yes, I specifically wanted to tell Saki hey, keep everybody hype in the Discord if you can. And for Peace, I'm like, your job is to, if you can at least post one thing in the Chaos Crew every day, I would love for you to do that if you could. And so I specifically am telling them what their jobs are. So, Peace doesn't come into the chat being all crazy, I'm doing moderators and da 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 da. And no, he knows exactly what I make sure I specifically say what it is that we're doing, because these are kind of, this is a role where people get to take charge. Do you know what I'm saying? And people can step on people's toes and stuff like that. That doesn't happen because I'm specifically giving everybody a role, a job, essentially.
All right, and then we do have I think Casey, with some of the links in the chat, some of them kind of link into other ones. So the best thing to do would probably be to just put it in your browser, and if it has some extra words at the end of the URL, just delete it and it should work. I'll go in and I'll fix Nightbot later for some of the links. Latisse had a question, and she is actually a regular for Little Chaos. So if you would like to answer this this one, go ahead. But her question is actually face cam or no. Do you think it's important? And if it is important, why?
So I started with a face cam. I also just like people to look at me. So, that's not for everybody. I just want to put that out there. I just like being like, I want y'all to see me. I feel like you could, like, I don't know, if I took my camera off right now, I would talk and you'd be like, what she look like? I want y'all to see me. But you know what? Let me tell you, I know a girl. Her name is Mickey. Okay. She has bright red hair. She actually did not use a face cam for a very long time, right? She just felt uncomfortable and she didn't want to receive the negative comments that she felt like she was going to receive based on her appearance. But let me tell you, this is at like 13K followers right now, and it's only been like a year or so. And about half that time, she was playing PUBG Mobile and Grand Theft Auto with no face cam. So her growth was her just being great, just being a human. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say, no, you don't have to have one. You do not. At least not when you start. I really don't think that you do, because I've seen success out of no face cam.
And I'm going to go ahead and just give a shout out to Candle Snacks. Thank you so much for the raid just now. Really appreciate you coming in and giving us support for this workshop tonight. You are the MVP. So I wanna go ahead and we can kind of break into community. Speaking of raids, when we have things like that happen in the community, how do you kind of work to kind of get yourself acclimated so that people are like, you know what, I want to show this person some love. I want to go ahead and make sure that I'm giving back to someone who kind of gave back to me. Like, what type of decision making do you come to with that? And I'm gonna make that an open question.
Can you repeat it one more time? I'm really sorry.
No, you're fine. So, like, when you're deciding, like, at the end of your stream, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and raid someone. I'm gonna go ahead and give back to someone that maybe gave back to me at some other point, or maybe you just want to make a new networking connection. How are you coming to that decision? And that's for anyone that can answer that.
So for me, first I'll see if any of the other gaming goddesses are currently streaming. And if they are, then I typically go to end up sharing some love there. But none of them are streaming, because sometimes they're not, I will go looking in the game that I just played to see if there are other people playing the game that I'm playing. And I'll look for somebody that might not have that many views, because I want to end up boosting their day, potentially end up getting them some new followers, kind of support other, I don't want to say small streamers, but smaller streamers. Because if somebody has over 1,000 viewers at one time, they might not, especially since I typically don't have triple digit views yet, and that's completely fine. They might just be like, oh, okay, thanks, and then just keep going about like whatever they're doing. But seeing the reaction of somebody else who has a smaller viewership like me, and if I raid in there with like 8 or 9 people, they're like, oh, thank you so much for the raid. I didn't expect to get a raid. How are you doing? How was your stream? What's going on? And they're a lot more engaged with people who are raiding in.
Awesome. And then I guess I'm going to go ahead moving back into moderation. For you, Chaos, like I said, you have such a hype community. You said you started out with your significant other, and then you moved on to 2, and then now it's grown to about 6 or 7 that are consistently doing that with you. So I would say, since you just celebrated your 2-year anniversary, which happy belated anniversary, you have grown an exceptional team in that time period. So like, for people that are just starting out and they're wanting to kind of have that type of exponential growth where they can see year over year, they're seeing that kind of improvement. Like, what is like something that you would recommend for someone just getting started?
To be honest, thank you on all of that, by the way. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. For someone just getting started, to be completely honest, I don't feel that you need A moderator, I feel like you also kind of need to learn about yourself and kind of learn about or know, like you need to be able to see it and know what it is that you are willing to stand for or deal with, or like what is it that you want to see. Like, do you not want people to curse? Are you okay with cursing? Do you want people to drop spoilers in your chat? What do you want people to talk about? You know what I mean? I feel like you need to know those kinds of things. So I feel like when you're just getting started, I feel like you need to be able to also learn how to do these functions on your own. So even though I have my significant other, like I said, he was at work. So if he's working and I have to do something fast, I need to know how to click those three dots, click mute for 15 minutes or 30 or an hour or whatever, or I need to know how to click the ban button, and then I need to know how to block people. I feel like you need to have that experience on your own first. That independency, just knowing what it is that you can handle, what can you deal with, and do I know how to do X, Y, and Z. I feel like you should take those steps first. So, if you take the first like month or so to figure that out, that's also okay, because, you want to be able to still be able to do these things on your own. Also, I would say that it takes a little bit of time to really find the people that want to be there for you. I didn't have Moose was my first like official, and I didn't find Moose until almost a year ago. So a year into my streaming, I found Moose. You know what I mean? And it was somebody reliable, who I know is not going to go and just banning people, just muting people, doing this for no reason. I know he wasn't going to do that, So you really want to kind of approach it as you are basically putting your brand in somebody else's hands, if that makes sense. Granted, they only have chat, whatever abilities, but they're part of your brand because they may be doing things that you don't want them to do. Does that make sense? And you want to have those people. I've seen this one girl, she had a moderator and basically logged it. I guess she must have had it set up wrong, but they logged into her stuff and was just going off on her page, doing what they wanted. But, that's not something that you want. So I do say to take time, find your community, build your community, and then open the floor one day. Like, is there anybody who is interested in possibly helping me out with some moderating abilities? And they thoroughly explain to them, like, you are taking your time, maybe 4 or 5 hours to help me. You know what I mean? So really make sure that you are able to find those people, ask them in-depth questions. Why do you want to be a moderator? Why do you want to help me? What am I doing for you? And what can you offer to me? Not in a negative or derogatory way, but this is your brand. So just hang out, just chill for those first few months. Find the people worth having around.
Absolutely. And I do want to kind of bring up, we had a situation even on the Athena channel, where we had some gentlemen come into the chat and they were very derogatory, and they were just not nice. You do have certain functionality on Twitch where if you have like Nightbot as a moderator, and like let's say someone uses a naughty word to describe females, you can have that be a word that is already put into the ban list so that it never comes up in your chat ever. Or if a message contains that word, it will automatically delete it to where no one else can see it. So I guess for my Twitchers on the team, because Facebook unfortunately doesn't have that type of bot moderation yet that you can employ. So basically, if you're on Facebook, you have to have an actual human moderating you. But for some of the Twitch streamers on the team, what has been your experience with that?
I don't have mods available for me at night when I stream late, mostly just because, people sleep normal hours. Some people have like an actual normal sleeping schedule.
Normal
I do,
hours, streamer hours.
right? Yeah, these streamer hours, it's a riot. So I use Stream Elements as my moderator most times, unless I'm playing a game that's been specifically given to me, from a dev. Then I will, ask someone that I know that, may not have normal sleeping hours to specifically mod for me, just to keep that content like super clear. But other than that, I just make sure that I do not have links enabled, because as a female streamer, you have to be very careful about what you allow in your channel, especially late at night. And so for my safety and just for my channel safety, I make sure that that is completely not allowed at all. I don't even let my moderators do it. Like, I just don't. I don't allow that. I think that's important, especially if you're a just chatting streamer, because people are mean and people are naughty and misogynistic, and for your mental health and for your just personal safety, it's just important to utilize the tools that Stream Elements and Twitch has available, even if they are limited, to your advantage as much as possible.
I realized that I was going to need a second moderator when I was doing my first charity stream and someone came into my chat and just made me very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to the point where it was like, okay, I've given you enough time. And I blocked him. And right after I blocked him, he followed me. And it scared me because I felt like he was saying I wasn't done talking. And I literally had to take a step back. My friend who was in the chat, who wound up becoming a moderator for me, who has since stepped down, actually messaged me on my phone and said, "Are you okay? Because you look white as a ghost right now." And I said, "No, I'm actually not." So I had to take like 5 minutes just to compose myself, and that's where I realized I need more help, because I didn't want that happening again.
And be aware that if you are deciding to moderate for someone, I can say that right now I do kind of the base moderation for the channel, and then specifically for Spokey's Wednesday streams, I'll go in and I'll moderate. Be aware that in being a moderator, it's all about consistency and protecting that streamer. Because you can guide the flow of how their stream goes, based on how you're doing things. I know I've been in the chat, specifically with Rico from Chaos's stream, and he'll actually troll her with certain things, like depending on the game that she's playing. He'll be like, "Oh yeah, go into that wall, that's it." And because she's just focused on the game, so she'll do it, and then she'll be like, "You just trolled me, why would you do that?" And so be aware that as a moderator, you do have a certain sense of power, and it's not really good to abuse that. I know one of the things that we were talking about last year from my organization, Women in Games, there was a game that was supposed to come out called Gamer Girl, and the player actually plays in the position of a moderator, controlling the streamer's life, not just the streamer doing the stream, but even outside of her stream, the moderator was controlling the streamer's life. And depending on the decisions the player made, the streamer, could end in a very bad negative situation. So in that art imitating life, the moderator does have a certain modicum of, respect that they need to play to the fact that they're in a role where they could, have all of this power. And because of that, you need to be able to make sure you're respecting your streamer. And likewise, if you're starting to stream and you're wanting to name a moderator, don't be afraid to take that person aside, just like Chaos said, asking them questions, setting up an application, setting up, time where you speak to them every so often. And you're saying, hey, these are the things that I need in my chat to perform at the level that I need to perform at to stay engaged with everyone. So those are just some things that I wanted to touch upon when it came to moderation. And I'll go ahead and I'll open the floor again. We have about 4 minutes before our next section. Does anyone else have anything else they would like to say regarding moderation?
I just wanted to put one more thing out there. That moderators also don't get paid. It's really when you don't. This isn't like a full time like I'm getting money thrown at me, whatever. Like, hey, I'm still trying to pay my bills, etc. Some people are able to do that, but I do want to say like make sure that you are just grateful for them and that you say thank you. You know what I mean? It could be just the slightest thank you. It doesn't have to be a gift in the mail. It doesn't have to be all that. But I do just want to say be grateful for them and show them that you appreciate them because they are also human beings. But they're also taking however many hours you are streaming to be with you. And I think that is incredible. And I know if it were me, I'd be like, dang, I'm trying to go to sleep. You're still on this computer? So, just be grateful. My mods actually stay up way past their bedtimes, and they work 7:30 a.m. jobs. So, I really try to just be grateful and if I can do something for them, I will. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Hey, you getting a quick? Like I said, I make sure they get. So if he's working every month, like I make sure they get something great, even if it's a thanks. Be sure to do that if you're going to do it. Just don't have them in there.
Absolutely. It's a labor of love on their part. They don't have to be
really
modding your chat. They don't have to be like making themselves available to help you out with your streams. They support you so much and they want to see you succeed that they're like, hey, I'll moderate your chat for you. Make sure you're not crept on by creeps or make sure that people aren't accosting other viewers. Appreciating them cannot be understated. Like you have to appreciate your mod.
All right,
really
we do have a
like-
question. We do have a question from Latisse, and then I'll say something else for you, Lexi. I do apologize. She said that how does she feel about she's thinking about streaming, but not really just streaming, editing gameplay and releasing the video so she can have more content out there. So the question is, should she choose one or go for both? So should she just record gameplay or should she actually stream?
Yeah, I would say both because that gets your content out there more and that gets you more traffic when you're live streaming. So definitely do both.
If someone finds you on YouTube, then they're going to end up seeing some of your gameplay and it could just be like highlights of what you've done on Twitch. And they'll be like, oh, this person seems cool. And if your Twitch information is linked in the about of every little video, they can come and find you on Twitch and end up following you, subscribing, whatever they want to end up doing there if they want to see a whole length video.
Yeah, and it's a good idea to do that when you're applying for games. A lot of developers are looking for people to test their games, to be play testers. And so it's important for you to be able to have that. So when you're trying to sell yourself to these companies to become like their main content creator or to become a part of their influencer team, to have that AVOD at least available so that you can resume yourself. And that's really important in this business, is to have those videos, those clips saved somewhere, because that's you. This is your job. Even if it's a hobby, it's still work, and that really helps with your growth and your potential for your brand as well.
All right, and then K Arts had a question in the chat. She's thinking about streaming her artwork, but is terrified to start and doesn't have an idea of how to start. Would she have any tips from anyone on the team? I know in terms of art, I've seen Jamie on the team stream, and I've also seen Madam Fun Size do some graphic work as well. So do you ladies have any insight for her?
I would say just do it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you're just sitting there editing anyways, so all you gotta do is hit the go live and the record and just go, and it's pretty easy to interact and engage with the chat while doing that.
And I follow a few art streamers on Twitch because I've been in raids that have gone into their streams. And if they're not doing digital art, we'll have a camera over top where they're drawing and then a face cam. So that way they can see what, like, them talking, then also see what they're doing with the art. And the art is the larger camera in their display. And if it's digital art, a little bit easier because you don't have to have a second camera. You can have the camera on you and then just screen share. But the biggest thing I'd say is if you're not wanting to talk a lot, have some of that
music.
Like have music playing that is royalty free that you can play in the background. So that way there's like some ambiance to it. So let's say you're drawing a dragon or you're doing some cool like paintbrush techniques. Try and maybe pick some royalty free music that fits along with the aesthetic of what you're making. So that way there's like this level of like connection for the whole process. But if you are going to talk, you can also have that music in the background, but turn down lower so it's like background noise in case you do lull because you have to focus on your drawing or your editing or whatever type of art you're doing.
I love doing art streams, especially when it's been like a long week and I know that I'm going to be streaming at the end of the week, because that helps me turn my brain off and it's something I can just do automatically. So I literally will zone out while I'm doing art, which may not be a good thing if I'm streaming, but I literally will just, I become like hyper focused on what I'm doing. But I've noticed I tend to talk to myself while I draw or while I'm doing like stuff. So I tend to almost narrate what I'm doing, which helps as well. Because I'm very critical of what I draw and what I do. So I'm always like, okay, this doesn't look right, or this doesn't look right. So I'd say just go for it.
All right, and we're going to go ahead and move into the last section for tonight's workshop. I did run a quick Twitch poll while we were all talking, and the most responses, of course, is stream engagement. How do you keep the chat engaged? How do you keep yourself engaged? How do you make sure that you're streaming and you're making content that's fulfilling for others to watch and also fulfilling for yourself to do. So for that, we're gonna have that section led by Spooky Dokes.
Hi, is it my turn? It's my turn. Okay. So for you guys that don't know, I'm a Facebook gamer. I'm Spooky Dokes, Spooky for short, so you don't have to type it all out or say the whole thing. It's a lot of words and syllables. And engagement is probably, oh, wait, it's not my turn yet. Oh, it is my turn. Engagement is probably one of those multi-tiered things that a lot of people overlook, and it's this big, overwhelming monster that you have no idea how to like tackle or what angle to start at. So I'm going to try and outline a sort of timeline of how engagement works, how you can use that to your benefit, and then obviously the on-screen streaming piece of it, which everyone is wanting to know about. One of the first things I want to say is that engagement starts before you even hit the go live button. You want to make sure that you are interacting with, so before you decide to stream, first and foremost, you have to kind of decide what it is you want to play, what style of stream you want to have, obviously. And you can base that off of things in your everyday life, what you like to do, what you play normally, your friends that you hang out with, the kind of stuff that you guys talk about. Take that as a skeletal model and build off of it. When I say engagement starts before you even push the go live button, that's true. So whether it's Twitch and you'll be spending a lot of time on Twitter, or you're a Facebook gamer and you're spending a lot of time on Facebook, or even if you're YouTube gaming and you spend all day watching YouTube videos, you want to start being a bit more social in that aspect. The easiest way to do it is to kind of stick to things that you already like. Every human walking the planet has something that they obsess over, yes? For me, one of my obsessions is Kingdom Hearts. So for what that would mean, what that would look like for me as a streamer, it would mean building a page and then finding communities around Facebook that tailor to Kingdom Hearts, more or less, right? And you go in there, you start making posts just in general in there, you start conversations in there about this thing that you like, and then depending upon community rules, you may or may not be able to go, hey, by the way, I'm going to actually stream Kingdom Hearts if you want to come and check me out on this day of the week. All the while you're interacting and you're building the algorithm in your favor, right? Facebook looks at this and goes, oh, this person's really active. Oh, hey, people are really talking to them a lot. I'm going to make sure more people see this post. So you take those same principles back to your social media page. In this instance, I'm going to work specifically within the realms of Facebook here. If you have other questions, I will answer those as well. But just for the example's sake, Facebook. Facebook looks at that and goes, okay, yeah, this person gets a lot of interaction on their posts. They're asking questions. People like talking to this person. I'm going to push this out more. You'll take that same principle and you'll go back to your page on Facebook and you make those same types of posts, right? Ask engaging questions, post pictures of Kingdom Hearts merch. Hey, just got a Funko Pop. This is awesome. Just kind of engage and interact as if you were an everyday social media user. What that's going to do is it's going to create traffic around your brand, right? And you can take all of that and from the crowd that you have amalgamated or collected of people that also like the same stuff that you do, when you hit the go live button, you automatically have 5, 3, 4, 10, 20 people that are going to come and look and see what you're doing because you've essentially built friendships. You've built connections with these people before you even turned a camera on. And that's one of the harder, that one is a marathon, not a race. It's one of the more challenging things to do. You always want to be posting. You always want to have something to give to your community to keep them coming back to you. And that's really just to please the algorithm piece of it. Once you are live is kind of when the real fun starts. And engagement for you can mean different things than another streamer. You have different genres, different styles of streamers. You have streamers that don't talk a whole lot. They just they're very game focused. They're very, this is what I'm playing. Everybody's here to watch this, so I'm going to play this the best that I can, right? And that's fine. Just make sure that the community you built beforehand fits in with that style. That's the key piece here. For me, I'm a talker. I like to talk a lot. I babble. Blah, 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 blah. I'm very animated. I have a lot to say all the time about all the things. It's just how my brain works. And at this point, since I've been doing it for so long, it comes a little naturally. But I will not lie to you, it takes effort. It takes work to build up to that point. If you want to be someone who's very animated, who draws in attention with themselves, like Chaos, or I like to think myself, it's something that you have to work up to. So that whole first piece that I gave you is going to play very heavily into here. How you interact here is going to be, it should carry over, should be identical, more or less. It means paying attention to your chat to keep those same people that you kind of collected. You put them all in the bag, right? You brought them to you. Paying attention to your chat when they're speaking to you. Looking into the camera instead of just looking at the screen, right? Or looking at, wherever, what have you. You don't want to be back here. You don't want to be behind you. You want to look here. These are the eyes. I'm talking to you guys, right? You make eye contact in real life. You want to carry that over to streaming as well. If you are having trouble building a community, which is, I think, a lot of places where streamers that have just started out get stuck, there is still a way that you can be very chatty and very talkative when you're first starting out. One of the things that I used to actually do when I was a new streamer, sorry, Sora, sticky notes. So I would take sticky notes, I would keep a marker handy, I would write down random topics on each sticky note, and I would just take those and plop them all around the monitors. Put one next to my phone if that's where I was watching chat. You put another one up here on this monitor, put another one over here on this monitor. And then as I'm playing, if there isn't a community, if there's no one in there to talk to, I can talk to myself. And I would keep this within distance when I was off screen, right? So an idea would pop into my head. Oh man, I wonder what turtle shells are actually made out of. Like, what's the material? And then I would just write that down. And I wouldn't go research it or find an answer, or maybe sometimes I would. And then I would pop that on my monitor right before I get started. And then as I'm playing, if I look over, oh man, there's one person in here and they're not talking. Oh man, there's 3 people in here and they're not talking. Dang, I don't have any viewers. Oh man, I was wondering what turtle shells were made out of. And then at that point, I would just literally allow myself to think out loud. Your inside voice becomes your outside voice at that point. So, dang, man, on Tuesday, I was super wondering what turtle shells were made out of. And I didn't do any research on it, but I probably should have, because I'm still really wondering, like, is that bone? Is it cartilage? Like, what is that? Is it some kind of rock? Can bones be made out of rocks? And then you just kind of let the runaway train take off. And that is the thing that as a viewer, people find entertaining. They want to come in and have that sort of conversation, have that sort of engagement. Bubble spews word vomit. Sorry, habit. We'll get to reading the chat in a second. So that it procs response from the viewers. Or if there are no viewers, they'll pause and go, what? And they'll stick for a couple of minutes, and then they might find, hey, I like this game. Hey, I like this person. I'm going to hit follow, and I'm going to watch this. Look, Latisse answered my question in chat. Keratin. Turtle shells are made out of keratin. You see what I mean? It's a natural push and pull of conversation. If you think about when you're hanging out with your friends, how do those conversations flow? What sort of things do you talk about with the people closest in your life, right? No one's saying you got to put all your business on Front Street, but take that and build from it in your digital persona. I know there were questions. I saw them. Let me see.
Did you see anything, Jamie, in chat?
Here no, I've been looking. It's mostly just.
I saw one earlier.
Gigi asked me one earlier.
Yeah, about stars.
Oh yes, Gigi was asking. I believe she said yes. How do the stars work, and how do the stars work when someone gives you stars?
So stars systems on Facebook is what biddies are on Twitch, right? 1 star is 1 penny, and they translate directly over. So you give me 1 star, that's 1 penny. People that want to donate will have to obviously enter their information into their Facebook account to buy the stars within Facebook. Facebook's really good about letting you do that right there in chat, just the same way as on Twitch. They do their thing, they click the button, they can send them off with a message, or they can just send them flat out. If the streamer that you are watching has an alert set up, that will pop up on screen, or it will pop up somewhere that they can see it. And then they should have good manners and thank you for it. If they're worth anything, in my opinion, just my opinion, but they should have good manners and thank you and be appreciative for it at any times. I hope that answers your question. But yeah, the word vomit runaway train is a real clutch move. If you are a streamer that is wanting to be colorful and animated on stream, the other piece of it that a lot of people don't think about, that you should be determining when you first build your stream, is what style of stream you want to do. If you are wanting to be someone who's highly engaging, highly animated, has a lot of conversation and dialogue, that needs to be your focus. You need to work on improving that, honing that, doing that off-screen, off-stream engagement piece that I talked about, that I mentioned. So that you can build that on stream, because it does take practice. The first few times when I got back in, I've been streaming off and on for like 6 years, maybe. And back in the day, it would be like, I'm gonna do this, and I'd do it for like 3 months, and then I'd put it down, and I'd walk away for 6 months, and so on and such forth. I've been on Facebook gaming for almost 2 years now, consistently every week. And when I first started out, I know, right? Wait, that's not what you were doing. I'm sorry. When I first started out, I was very tired after stream, because you are, imagine yourself, if you will, picture yourself, if you will, if you can. I know there are a lot of people with social anxiety. If you're one of those people, don't do this. I do not want to stress you out. But if you are not, picture yourself at a house party or a barbecue, every time you turn that stream on, every time you click that button, that is the person that you need to be. Making conversations, telling jokes, laughing, having heart-to-heart moments if you're comfortable and okay with doing that on stream. Those are all the pieces, and there's no one else on the other end, so there's no pause for your vocal cords. Drink water. I get a lot of crap.
Hydrate.
But drink water, keep water handy because you are going to get a little hoarse by the time you're done. You got to think you're going to be talking nonstop for 2, 3, 4, 5 plus hours. So take care of your throat. Drink some tea, drink some water, that sort of thing.
Tea after the stream is great.
Gigi had another question.
Okay.
She asked, does anyone use boosting for Facebook gaming, and does it help with followers?
Boosting is like going to a casino and then winning a bunch, but then continuing to play. You're walking on thin ice. The best thing that I always tell people, if you are under a certain threshold of followers or engagement on your live streams, do not do it. It's going to hurt you more than it's going to help you. And that's a controversial opinion, but just from what I have noticed from the behind the scenes piece, the algorithm will start to bully you after your campaign is over. You get this nice boost, right? And if you didn't keep or hold on to any of those people, okay, so how can I explain this? When you boost, right, you're here. You use a boost, you go to Facebook and go, hey, I need more people. Facebook goes, bet, you got to pay me a certain amount of money. I'll give you $10. Okay, you give me $10, I'll bring you 100 people. Facebook keeps its end of the bargain, so you will go up here, but when that's over, you're going to go back down here, and you may even end up a step lower, because at this point, you have told Facebook that you are willing to give them money. Yes. So I would be very careful. It is a very slippery slope. I have run ads. I have boosted posts before. It has been a very, very, very long time. I kind of resolved myself to trying to do an organic growth for 6 to 12 months and see where that put me. But yeah, keep that in mind.
And speaking of organic growth, one thing that I do want to bring up, and we'll touch on it a little bit more in a future workshop. But one thing that I want to bring up is the fact that networking is one of the biggest tools in a streamer's toolbox. Organic growth is important because you want to make sure that the people in that stream are there for you, and not just because they randomly, if you have someone and they randomly do see your content and they come in and they've been engaging with your stream and they're like, I really like what you guys have going on. This is really cool. I may come back. That's organic. If you have someone who's just coming in, you boosted that post, and so this is usually after your stream is done. So you boosted that post, some people have liked it, you may have all of these people like it, but then it doesn't really mean anything because they're not coming back and seeing your content, they're not turning on live notifications, they're not really ever going to really communicate with you ever again. So if they did even communicate with you in the first place. So just keep in mind that even though Facebook is very pay to play, it's not a game that you want to play. Of all the games on Facebook gaming, that's the worst one to play. I will say this in regards to Twitch. You don't really have a simple boost program like you do on Facebook. You may have some random come into your chat and be like, look, you could buy views from me, you could buy followers. Ban those people. Don't even pay them any mind. Don't look at them as something where you could be like, oh well, I could become the next big thing because I'm purchasing and I'm buying viewers or bots in most of those cases. Don't do that. Go into a lot of the communities that are in gaming. Utilize the Discord servers that are available. Sometimes you'll find a Discord server and you may want to stay there. Some other people may say, hey, look, join this Discord. then you're in 10 discords, then you're like Lexi and you're in 100 discords and you can't add anymore. So you know,
Call out though. That was uncalled for. You were talking like that?
She just like put me on the spot, but yeah, like
Or
I'm
just
literally in
everybody
100 and I
trying to,
can't
like,
join
go along
anymore.
with it. That's
listen,
really
I
difficult.
only do
Join the
that.
spotlight.
I only do that because I'm about to reach that threshold with myself. So I would not
How
suggest
do you
any
guys do
viewer.
that though? I cannot. I can barely keep up with my own Discord, let alone like having like exceeded the limit. I've maybe like 20, and even out of like not even that, maybe like 15. Even out of those, I talk in maybe like 2 aren't even mine.
You know how drugs work, and you're like, you just see one, and you're like, I guess I'll try it, and then like
Yep.
you're like, I kind of
That's
like
not
it,
what?
and then
What?
It's really like that
next
though.
thing you
That's
Hold
know,
on, hold on.
next thing you know, you're online, and you're like, wow, there's a server, let me join it. Then you do it
It's just
again
like
and
I mean, that's
again.
not
just
how
for
drugs
topics
work.
that you like, so you're like, let me join, let me see what's in here. Like, oh, okay. And then like I'll end up just muting it, and I forget that I'm in there, and I won't forget to leave. It's like that. But then I run like a bunch of different discords too, so it's not just I'm in there because I see it. It's like I'm running this, or I'm modding this, or that kind of thing.
You know how drugs work?
That's depressing, though. Honestly, that's depressive. I can't do that.
I think that's gonna be the quote of the night.
You know how drugs work? You see one and you try it? No. I can't relate to that one.
No, Miss Girl.
I'm sorry.
So,
This one time, okay, that was a long time ago.
This one time when I was a Wii streamer.
This one time, listen, I want to say over a year ago, I had no idea what Discord was. Now suddenly, like, I just joined
That's fair.
I just joined a Discord.
You
And
want to
like,
know something weird? Is that my daughter's school, they use Skype. And I was like, who uses Skype anymore? Like, what is that? Like, is it even safe now? Like, why are you guys Skyping? It's so weird. Like, what? Okay. She's like,
Not
just contact me on Skype.
And I mean, I didn't know what Zoom was before this past year. So
Same.
me neither.
I thought it was a
further
TV
proof.
show.
We're gonna get.
I said Zoom
A
what?
hot take, I know, but it is.
Yeah, but
I
social
said a hot
networking
take,
is
I know,
super
but there.
important.
Zoom is the devil.
All right, so in terms of stream engagement, Smokey, everyone starts somewhere. I do want to go ahead and like ask you, when you first got started, when you first hit go live, what was your chat like back then? Because I can tell you that I'm in your chat now, and you'll be on the starting soon screen. You'll be on that screen for about 5 to 7 minutes, and people come in there and they're like, hey everyone, how's everyone doing? Did you have a good week? So how was that first set of streams for you in terms of your engagement?
Oh man. My first streams, I was terrible. I would forget to pay attention to my chat. I have always had a fondness of streaming with friends. So when I first started doing this, I was working for a convention company, and it was just this kind of underground promo campaign that I was trying to do, right? So we would have guests that would be coming out to conventions, like panel guests. And the ones that would play video games, I would invite to come and stream with me and play a game with me and have people hanging out. And so I was really bad about looking at chat numbers and who was there and who was saying what. So when I finally did start paying attention to that, it was just nothing. Not a zip, zilch. It was a ghost town. And that was when I first picked up the skill of talking to yourself. After that, a lot of my streaming career has been problem solving, as in I create problems for myself and then I have to solve them. So for me, it was a problem solving task, which is where I realized engagement is not just pressing go live and then expecting the en masse of people to come to thee, right? It doesn't work that way. You have to be a person outside of this stream in order for there to be a pop-in stream, basically. But yeah, I started the same, I would say, as everyone else. There was no one there. No one cared. No one, oh wow, a girl playing video games on the internet? So, hold on. Yeah, nobody cares. So you have to build that for yourself, and it is definitely and it always will be an uphill battle unless you were somebody like, I don't know, T-Pain or Barack Obama. You're gonna have to show people that you have to.
Yeah, like I had a few friends that were willing to come and like lurk in my chat the first few times that I streamed, and that was just to get me used to talking in general. They're like, I'm gonna lurk and just give you a view or two, so that way, like, it shows that you do have viewers, and then you just talk. Just talk.
That brings up a really interesting point, and I'm glad you mentioned that. If you take away nothing else from this, guys, take away this. You can make a friend out of a fan, but you cannot make a fan out of a friend. Go into this and build your demographic and your audience under the impression that no one that you love or care about is going to support you. It sounds horrible and crude and crass, but trust me, it's better than spamming. It's better than spamming your personal newsfeed and hoping that your aunt or your uncle or your friends will come and watch, and then they don't. It creates tensions outside of stream and stress that you don't need because you're already trying to build something. So, throw one in there every now and then, but other than that, you need to find new circles.
Streaming groups. There are tons of streaming groups like on Facebook that you can end up networking with. And they encourage you to tell us what you end up streaming whenever you post a link. Be like, hey, we're playing, as an example, Dead by Daylight. We're playing Dead by Daylight today. Come watch me try and play Killer because I've only played Survivor. People will want to come and be like, oh, you've never done this before. Let me see what you're doing. And of course, as we've said whenever we were talking about alerts, people love watching a streamer either freak out or struggle to learn how to play a game that is new to them because they don't know the buttons or controls and might panic react and hit something they didn't mean to hit.
Which I guess brings me to the next point. One of the other big questions is, how do I make engagement or create stuff when I'm not streaming? Clips features are there for a reason. Everybody has a moment that they leave their stream remembering, going, that was hilarious, or that was really cool, or that was awesome. Go back and clip it and post it. There you go. There is engagement. There is content right then and there. Like was mentioned about alerts, decorating your stream and customizing your stream isn't just so that you look cool. It's to help you be a better streamer as well. Alerts are a part of that, in my opinion. Have a noise that's jarring or surprises you or that sparks joy. Use it. So when someone donates to you, you get that automatic smile of, oh, yay, cool. I know what that, hey, I like that noise. Hey, I know what that means. And then you're genuinely smiling for everybody, which is what your audience wants to see. Or if you so please and you're crazy, make something that will scare the bejesus out of you when it happens.
Me, I have lights in the back that will change when I get like an alert or follow or sub or raid. Yeah. That's how I know. I'm like, wait, okay, something's happening. I'll go look.
Right.
We did get some questions in the chat.
Yeah, I was getting to that, Em. So, Matika for Friends, I'm really hoping I'm saying that right, wanted to know what games we usually stream, and if any of us play RPG games.
Let's go one by one with everyone. I'm going to go ahead and start with Scarlett.
Hi. So I play just about anything, and I'll give most games a chance. Right now, I've been playing a lot of Dead by Daylight. I went back to playing Digimon Cyber Sleuth because one of my viewers wanted to see Digimon again. I'm like, I have that game. I had it before like the secondary game came out, but I have my PlayStation up here in my stream room now. So I just started a stream of Digimon. I normally love playing RPGs. I'm just getting into playing multiplayer games again because I have people to play with, like these lovely ladies. And me and Faulty end up playing Neverwinter almost every Wednesday, unless something comes up, like one of us is sick or we have to travel or something. But love RPGs, and I'm loving things like Dead by Daylight. I think it's fun.
Little Chaos.
Hello. I'm actually Facebook Gaming's Pokemon Queen, but they don't know it yet. It's fine. But I usually do every type of a Pokemon game. I even go back and play the ones that I haven't played because those came out when I was probably like, I don't know, a fetus. But I do challenging run throughs of Pokemon, and I also do competitive Pokemon playing, which is the ranked battles and stuff like that. I do play RPGs. Persona, the Persona series is actually one of my favorite RPGs. Kingdom Hearts is the first RPG that I played on stream, but I grew up literally playing RPGs and fighters and Pokemon. Literally is all that I do. But I will literally play whatever. I think I started dabbling into like just simple stuff. Like I think someone suggested, I think Emmy suggested, was it you, Emmy? Suggested Get a Grip Chip. I think we were talking about that one day. And like that's just a little PC game on Steam. Let me tell you, that was one of the best games I'm actually I might play it tomorrow. But anyways, like I really will play whatever. I try to like get a good consensus of like what my community wants to do, but I literally will play whatever as long as it's not a first person shooter, and don't ask me to play no Resident Evil frills, whatever you want to call it, scares. No, beware, because I'll be angry if you ask me. So I don't do those. But yeah, I do everything else.
Faulty Code Gamer.
So I also play a little bit of everything. I've played Skyrim on my channel. I've played Borderlands on my channel, which I'm currently running through right now. I have a playthrough of Borderlands 3 that's going, and I'm going to be revisiting Borderlands 2 to celebrate my second year on Twitch, because that was the very first big, quote-unquote, big game I played on my channel. Currently, I'm also playing some RimWorld. I'm going to be doing a zombie apocalypse playthrough of that game featuring these lovely ladies. So that's going to be fun. I'm super excited about that. I'm probably going to start that on Friday, actually, during my Athena stream. So that's exciting. But yeah, I've played a little bit of everything. I've played Pokemon, I've played Skyrim, I've played Oblivion, but I will not play horror games. I will not play horror games, and I will not play platformers. So that's kind of, I guess, where I draw my line.
Legend of the Star. Legend.
Hi.
What do you play, Legend?
So I play indies. I strictly play indie games, most of which people probably have never heard of. And I love that. I love being able to check a game out and test it before anyone else gets to. I'm lucky in that regard. Yeah, anything. I've slowly started to dabble into horror games because I feel like as an indie streamer, I can't really call myself that if I don't at least try every genre. Roguelites are not my favorite at all, and neither are puzzle games. I don't know what it is. Like, I just can't. The only puzzle game that I really liked was Maze. I don't know if you guys have ever played that, but because it was like no thought. It was just like you stick this thing in here. Teddy Ruxpin follows you down the hallways, like talking to you in Russian. It was amazing.
No,
I loved it. It was so good. Talking corn. It was beautiful. I didn't have to process none of that. So I try to stay away from puzzles. But I just play indies. The goddess of indies. Love me.
Lexi the Noob.
So for me, like I started off kind of like a variety streamer, so I was playing like almost anything and everything. But do not, I repeat, do not ask me to play Dark Souls 3 or Outlast. Just don't. Like there's clips out there on my channel of me playing those games, and like it's not fun at all for me. That's like a rage quit game for me, both of them. But right now, like on my channel, I mostly focus on MMORPGs and like single player RPGs. That's what like I mostly play. So mostly right now is like Baldur's Gate 3. I've started playing. We're going back to Black Desert Online, WoW, and Final Fantasy. Those are my top 4 games right now.
All right, and Madam Fun Size. I think you're still on mute, hun. I think I hear you, but
I hear typing, but I don't
yeah, I
hear
hear
voice.
typing.
Oh, that's me.
Oh,
Sorry.
You with us, Fun Size? Oh no, we've lost Fun Size.
Nope.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move forward to Spooky Dokes.
I play a lot as of recently, a lot of Final Fantasy 14 online. I also play Godfall. I consider myself a variety streamer, so I will play mostly just about any and everything. I think I really only have two absolutely freaking not games on my list. Fortnite, I won't do it. Don't ask me. I won't. You can't pay me. No, man. No, no, no. And then the Five Nights at Freddy's series. Nah, I'm good, bro. I tried. I did it
there with you.
to celebrate my mile marker, and I walked away from that on the verge of a heart attack. So never again. I will not. No, thank you. But other than that, Fighters, Soul Calibur. I'm a fan of puzzle games. I love puzzle games. I like platformers. I do like horror games as long as they're not too scary because I'm a chicken. And big RPG player, JRPGs primarily, Persona, Final Fantasy, all those sorts of fun things. And even The Sims. I used to rock out with The Sims a lot. So yeah, a little bit of everything from me.
All right, and for myself, Demon Angel clone, I love strategy games. I love puzzle games. Anything that I can problem solve, that's usually my jam. I like fun platformers like Get a Grip Chip was mentioned earlier. Galaga is like one of my very first like favorite games. I love that game. I'll do Overwatch. I love team-based titles as well. I'll do, let's see, some Dead by Daylight. Jill has been teaching me Phasmophobia. That was an experience. And you can definitely watch that on the Fantasy Network. Where she basically survived and killed me. Killed me a few times. Love you, legend. We also
I watched you die. I watched you die the second time, the first time.
Oh
You
no.
tried to escape the house, and that didn't work out because I forgot to tell you couldn't. And then the second time, I just sat there and I just watched it. I took a picture though, so that was good.
you
See, I
did.
need to play that game more.
You did. Yeah, but I do love those type of games. So when you do see me go on live, it's probably going to be something like that. You know, I'm gonna do a Mass Effect franchise like restarting from the very first game pretty soon. So I'm actually pretty excited about that. And Scott Pilgrim because that's a thing again. So gonna be starting that again too. So I want to say that this was a really great first workshop, ladies. What do you think?
Absolutely, I loved this.
Yeah, I
This was
really
so much
enjoyed it.
fun.
Yeah, I
Really
do
enjoyed
want to
it.
say one thing about social networking. Try not to overextend yourself because that can be really easy trying to do many platforms all at once. So try to just keep it as concise as possible. Maybe give yourself a schedule, and scheduling tweets is amazing. You know, that's a thing. Do that. Only like maybe I only follow people on my newsfeed. Just be careful with how far you extend yourself because that can be really pressing. And I think we've got a workshop on that too coming up. But yeah, it's really important to just not overwhelm yourself, especially when you're starting out because you want to have that growth. You want to, really excel at what you're doing. So you tend to overextend yourself a little too much. So just remember to breathe and definitely step back because it can be really overwhelming. And reach out to any one of us. That's why we're doing these workshops. That's why we're here. So if you have questions, hit us up in the Discord. We're all pretty active on that. Yeah, just contact us on Twitter. Our links have been going in through the chat. But we're always happy to help if you guys need any more advice, or if you want to know the next date of our workshop, which is what, in February, Emmy? Like February 7th, I think.
And we do
Yeah.
have the next list coming out. So that was a really
Yeah.
great segue, Legend. Um, so the next workshop that we have is actually going to be February 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For that workshop, we are going to be focusing on networking with Scarlet Aeon, low budget streaming with myself, lighting with Lexi the Noob. And we're also going to be giving some insights on what type of streaming, not platforms, but actually streaming operating systems to use. Is it better to use Streamlabs? What about Stream Elements? Or do you go back and use the original one, which is OBS? So we'll be discussing that as a team as well, and sounding off on which one would be the better one to use, whether you're just getting started or if you have certain things that you want to do when you're casting. We also have our next Goddess gaming stream, and that is coming up on February 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern. So that's going to be the Goddesses of the Underworld, us playing Dead by Daylight as a team. So I'm really excited about that. That's going to be a lot of fun. In the meantime, what we're going to be doing is keeping you guys in touch with the events that we're going to be doing. The next big stream on the channel will be our first official episode of the Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and that will also be streaming on the Fantasy Network. So really excited. Our own Scarlet Aeon is going to be featured for that campaign going forward, and that one is going to be streaming bi-weekly every Thursday evening, starting at 7. So I really can't wait for you guys to see that. We have a brand new DM, brand new overlays, and it's also going to be a brand new campaign as far as the world goes as well. So if you're into Dungeons and Dragons, please go ahead and make sure that you're giving that a look, starting on February 4th. And with that, I am going to say that this has been a wonderful workshop. So thank you so much for coming and joining with us. Next time, I do plan on having our tech guru in the Discord as well. So if you want to have something priced and immediately get specs on what type of build to get, how much that build will be, and where to go and shop for that build, our tech guru next time will be providing that, and I really can't wait for you guys to meet her as well.
She's amazing.
She's fabulous. I love Deviant03. If you've ever joined our Discord and you've seen her talking in the community, she's lickety split with a lot of those pricings. So if that's something that you're interested in, like if you're wanting to get started with how to do your build, or what microphones to use, or what type of camera or lighting to get, or how to do cable management, that is your person. And so I can't wait to have her join us next time. And with that, that is How to Stream Like a Goddess, our first workshop. You have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.